Steve Johnson, congratulations on your top ranking in Americans men's singles and on your bronze medal in men's doubles. He joins us now live on the Dish Hotline. Good morning to you, Steve.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good. Listen, we've been having a conversation about rolling backpacks, and it brings me to another question that I've always had about tennis bags in general. They are the biggest bags that any athlete that I know of uses. And I think, okay, you have shoes, you have a couple of rackets. Why are these bags so monstrous?
And
what
why
am I
aren't they
missing?
on wheels? And why aren't they on wheels?
We'll get to that in a second.
Tennis bags are, like our lifeline. They're just an extension of us on the court. For me, I've got, probably 8 rackets in the bag. You never know how many you're going to need, and you got, extra shoes and clothes, and, you kind of have to prepare like you're going to be out there for, hours and hours on end, and hopefully you don't need all that stuff, but you got to be prepared.
Okay, so and how many times have you gone through 8 rackets in a match?
At the Grand Slams, I probably usually go through about 6 or 7. So
really,
wow. I'm not breaking them in anger, but sometimes the strings just get a little old and dead. Just the way the technology is these days, they last for a certain amount of time, and then you gotta get a fresh one.
Interesting.
So if you had the opportunity to carry it on the ground on wheels, which would make a little bit more sense, would you do it, or is that too nerdy for you?
I think I would pass on that. I've always been a carry the backpack kind of guy.
There you go, Steve.
So
and that's why
I'm against the wheel.
Yeah, Steve, that's why you're a bronze medalist, too. That's why you're a medalist in the Olympics, because you will not succumb to the wheeled rolly thing, which is what Nicole has with her 6-year-old. Her 6-year-old, she's introducing it. You talk about undermining the youth in America. Steve, I'm waiting as long as possible to ask you the Ryan Lochte question, so I'm going to leave that to Nicole. We talked about this during the Olympics, how as Americans we have become so spoiled when it comes to medaling, and that if it's not a gold medal, it's like, well, okay, it adds to the medal count, but God, it's not a gold. And I'm thinking, for the participant, for the competitor, being one of the 3 best in whatever it is that you pursue in the world at the Olympics has to be such a huge achievement that us on the outside cannot appreciate. So can you put into words, or can you kind of capture what it meant to you to win a bronze medal?
It really is a dream come true, and you hit the nail on the head. Us in the States, we love champions. That's why we want to see Michael Phelps win, 100 gold medals. We don't want him to stop, with just 23. And, just to win the bronze, for me to get a chance to go to the Olympics was an honor. And then to get a chance to play for a medal towards the end of the week was truly remarkable. And to come home with the medal and, have it with me, in New York right now. And, it's just something I'll have for the rest of my life. And it's something that nobody could take away from me.
Steve Johnson, top-ranked American in men's singles, bronze medal in men's doubles. And now I'm going to ask you the mean question, the unfair question. What is a bigger dream come true for you, winning an Olympic medal or becoming number 1 in men's singles?
I think winning, a gold medal at the Olympics really could trump pretty much almost anything. That happens once every 4 years. I think it's the world's biggest stage of athletics. It comes and it's just it's amazing. You're there with the 10,000 other best athletes in their respective sports, and not many people get to walk away with a medal. So I think that's something that's really special.
So when you look at becoming the top man in singles here, the last 3 years it's been Isner. You finally hold that title. What changed for you over the last few months, year, etc.? What was the turning point?
For me, I continue to believe in myself. I've always been close and knocking on the door to really kind of making a big push. And, with this day and age in men's tennis, it takes a while to mature, and it takes a while to just really get the hang of the landscape and the travel and, kind of everything. And, take nothing away from John. He's a really close friend of mine. I still picture him as being the top guy, and, hopefully we can just push each other and move up the rankings together.
Steve, there's talk out there that that men's tennis and American men in tennis we're about to have another period where we may say domination the way we haven't seen at an international level in a while. Do you see that coming as well? And if so, what do you think has inspired it?
It's just kind of it's an interesting topic. I think we get asked this a lot, and we talk about this amongst ourselves a bunch. And I think in the States we have such a plethora of sports where all the best athletes can go to at a young age. I mean, there's pretty much anything you can dream of. And I think as of right now, we have a lot of young, probably 16 to 20-year-olds in men's tennis here in the States that are super talented, very capable of being great in tennis. And I think in a few years, if they really can stick with it and kind of keep getting better and better and get mentally and physically stronger, I think they could really do some damage in the next 5-10 years. No doubt about that.
Steve, at what point in your life did you realize I can make a profession out of this? You're a California native. You go to USC. You play there. At what point did you really start dedicating yourself and falling in love with the sport?
I think I've always loved the sport, but I think once you always as a kid, regardless of the sport, you dream of being a champion. You dream of making it to the top, and I think it was definitely while I was in college where you kind of get this realization where I was good enough, and I have the abilities to potentially make a career out of this and do something that I love for a living. And thankfully, I had an amazing support staff at USC, and for me, it's I think a lot of credit goes to those guys for getting me ready. And then I've had a lot of support the last 4 or 5 years that I've been out here on the tour.
How much did you play as a child growing up? Was it strictly tennis, and were you playing every single day, or you just happen? Rick is laughing at me because I have 2 young boys, so there might be a little bit.
There's self-interest here. She's constantly
just
trying to figure out how
wondering.
She's going to develop her sons.
It's interesting. I think I'm one of the few. I played baseball, basketball, football, golf, everything until I was about 15 or 16, and then I kind of just made a choice that I really enjoyed tennis the most. So I stuck with tennis, and but growing up as a kid, I probably played probably 2 or 3 days a week for a couple hours, and the other days I had baseball practice, I had football practice, you name it. I was playing every other sport, and I think that was perfect for me because if I played tennis 4 or 5 hours a day every day since I was 6 years old, I don't know if I'd still be here right now.
How difficult was it, though, to take that line? Because what I see, and I see it with, I have a son and a daughter, both athletes, is that as soon as you show the aptitude in a particular sport, the coaches in that sport want you to focus on it, and they almost put the fear in, you're going to fall behind if you're not, doing this year-round. What was that like for you?
For me, it was just, I love playing team sports. I'm a big team guy, so I got a chance to play on teams as a kid. Since tennis is such an individual sport, I felt a lot of pressure when I was younger, to play more tennis, to travel internationally, to do this and to do that. And, I missed a lot of stuff because I had, the Little League, all-star games in the summer. I had basketball tournaments in the spring, So I missed a lot of tennis growing up. But, for me, that was the best thing for me. I didn't get burnt out on tennis. I still wake up, every morning, and happy, and I'm happy to go to the course. I'm happy to, go get better. And, this game has given so much to me, and, it's time, hopefully, I'll be able to give something back to the game and give, back to the people who helped me the most.
I know that the training, pardon me, can be exhausting and grueling at times, but it seems like you have a new app on your phone that is helping you preserve the body and just get yourself in the right frame of mind. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the Zeel app.
Yeah, I kind of came across this, and it really is, I recently discovered it, and it's amazing. It's kind of like an Uber for massage. I travel all the time. I'm week in and week out in a different city, and anywhere you are, I can, kind of order a massage, like a sports, therapist to come in and kind of get the body right day in and day out. And, it can be, in my hotel room here in New York as, as little as an hour. And, it's affordable. It's great. It's, tennis is pretty grueling mentally and physically. So to have somebody, with this app to come over and just to kind of help get the body right, and hopefully you can compete at the highest level every day, and that's made the biggest difference. So Zeel for me has been awesome.
God, the idea of a massage right now. You just
download it, Rick.
Man, it sounds like a phenomenal idea, because I was already trying to schedule when I was going to have my next one, because it is I don't know about you, Steve, and you probably do it on a regular basis because of your profession, but I kind of fall out of the loop, and then every time I get a massage and it opens my body back up, I'm like, why don't I do this on a regular basis? Like, what am I doing? Like, this is money such well spent.
Yeah, I mean, it really is important because, for us, any little, injury or kind of soreness, makes a big difference when you're out there. So anytime you could, feel the best every day you wake up, regardless of what you did the day before, makes a huge, huge difference.
I'm on it right now, and you can get a Swedish, a deep tissue, a prenatal, or a sports within an hour of booking Rick Bucher. So no excuses now. I want a more relaxed co-host. Because Steve Johnson, it sounds like you're pretty relaxed. Before we let you go here, I do want to ask you the Ryan Lochte question.
We almost forgot. That's unbelievable. That is like a record on the show. Wow.
When you look at your Rio experience, and now, of course, all the talk about Rio is the situation involving the 4 U.S. swimmers. The Ryan Lochte situation, what's your take?
I think it's really, kind of unfortunate. I think they got in a little bit over their head, and they just tried to kind of talk their way out of it, unfortunately. And, it's silly. I can't, speak on behalf of those guys and what they were going through and what actually happened. But, for me, my Olympic experience was remarkable. I enjoyed it. Everybody at the USOC and, the tennis side of things was just top notch. And, it was really an amazing experience. And, hopefully those guys, can kind of move past this and, not shed a negative light on this, but, kind of celebrate all the champions and the great things that came out of Rio.
You're friends with Ricky Fowler, and I say this because there's some video out there. At one point, I let Movember go a little too long, and I regret it now that I go back and I see what I looked like. What was up with Ricky's mustache, and how friends need to help friends at times?
Hey, as a guy, I've had the mustache a few times out here on tour. It's all fun and games. You get bored, I guess, on the road. And look, the playoff stash is working. He played, was able to follow him around the Wyndham in Greensboro on Sunday last week, and now he's doing a thing up here at the Barclays at Bethpage. So, happy for him. Got a chance to really meet him at the Olympics. Super great guy. It's just great to see good people who are, great at their sport, and, you just kind of are in awe of, how good they really are.
But, Steve, you have the kind of upper lip where the mustache works. Like, for some of us, it doesn't. And it's okay for you that it works for to say, no, that's not your cup of tea. I mean, you didn't feel like you could do that?
I'm a guy who respects a mustache, so, I like it. I mean, if people like to pull it off, I'll never speak negatively on that.
Okay.
Also, we would be remiss if we didn't ask you about the U.S. Open, which starts on Monday. Just your thoughts on the draw and what to expect.
I think it's great. This is our Grand Slam home event, so, I love being in New York. And the last few years, it hasn't gone my way. But, I'm playing good right now, and I'm really enjoying tennis. And hopefully I can get out there and make a deep run and, really enjoy those American crowds that you see, in the past, getting behind Andy and James and Marty and those guys. And to get those crowds behind you here in New York is really remarkable. And it's an indescribable feeling, when you're out there playing. So hopefully I can make a deep run and get these crowds on their feet and just really enjoy American tennis again.
Yeah, what is it? I've talked to other tennis players. Brad Gilbert's a friend, about the U.S. Open and the locale, the venue are one of a kind. Tell me what makes it such a unique experience for you.
For me, it's our home slam. I remember coming here as a kid a couple times and seeing, guys like Andre and Pete and those guys being successful, and it kind of puts that dream in your eye as a kid, and that you would like to, be here one day. And now this is my 6th year here in the main draw. It's hard to believe. I was thinking about it this morning that I've already played here 6 times, and I just want to make the most of it. And it's just the fans, the facilities, and what they do for the players. It makes it one of the best tournaments, in my opinion, of the year. And they're always trying to make it better for the players, which is amazing for us.
Well, give me an example before we let you go. Example of what they do for the players that makes it so special that maybe it's a treatment you don't get elsewhere.
They just make everything so accessible. If you need something in the city, they have people you could, they help with, reservations and there's kind of services where, for me, it's a little easier since I'm in New York. I know where to go and how to get, around. But, a lot of these players, who may, not be familiar with New York, struggle with this big city. And, they just try and make it so easy for the players. You can call and get reservations at restaurants and kind of get into your comfort zone so you're not, feel like you're, just kind of lost wandering in this big city.
They're like the Zeel app for tennis tournaments. Whenever you want it.
That tie-in. Look
right
at that.
Right then and there, within an hour, at your hands. Steve Johnson, congratulations again on your top ranking and your bronze medal in men's doubles, and best of luck to you.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate the time. That was Steve Johnson. As I said, top-ranked American in men's singles. He just picked up a bronze medal at Rio in the men's doubles. You can find him on Twitter. It's at @sjohnson_89.